Chairman Jim Jordan refers John Brennan to the DOJ for criminal prosecution.
What this is a criminal referral from the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, to the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, turning over evidence of what they are alleging were lies before Congress, a violation under 18 U.S.C. 1001, where they are alleging that the former CIA Director, John Brennan, knowingly and willfully made materially false statements or representations before Congress. And how do they know that he knowingly or willfully did it? Because the opposite of what he said to Congress, he memorialized in notes as he pushed for the inclusion of the Steele dossier into this intelligence community assessment that was ordered by President Obama. And then goes on to lay out in 6 pages very explicitly the statements in the transcribed interviews. Now, these weren't before a camera in a committee room. These were transcribed interviews, much more serious type setting. Yeah. It's not a time when you see members of Congress grandstanding, trying to use their 5 minutes to get a soundbite for their campaign. These are when they're doing real investigative work and when they are alleging he lied. And it's not just we think he lied because we disagree. No. It actually goes on to show, and we'll lay this all out in the next segment, that there were things even he memorialized within the CIA that has now been declassified and released by people like Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe that show that he did the opposite and told Congress the other.
Yeah, I mean, they were using their intelligence community assessments, and they were using information from the Steele dossier. And while they were testifying about the intelligence community assessment that they signed their name to, they said they had never seen the Steele dossier, even though it is being utilized in the actual document they submitted. It said Russia was, Trump was Russia's preferred candidate, all the stuff out of the dossier. So even, unlike Comey, this is multiple times before Congress in different ways that John Brennan, he'd say misleading. The best way to say is misleading. I think it's absolute lying because he's the CIA director. He knows everything.
Yeah, at least worth looking into.
John Brennan told Chairman Jordan himself in this interview in 2023, when Chairman Jordan asked, who'd you learn about the Steele dossier from? He says, I learned about it from the FBI. But then he was the one in this answer, not just saying I learned about it from the FBI, let's move on, said the CIA was very much opposed to having any reference or inclusion of the Steele dossier in the intelligence community assessment. That is that 2017 document that President Obama ordered at the end of his term.
Right before Donald Trump came into office.
After President Trump was elected.
Right.
This is what kickstarted all the investigations and eventually the special counsel that ended up turning up nothing, but tried to undermine the presidency of President Trump.
We have the memorandums too. And for instance, so Brennan says this to Jordan, but then according to a CIA memo declassified by the Trump administration, when 2 CIA mission center leaders confronted Brennan with, quote, specific flaws in the dossier, trying to do the right thing, as we said, so many of them were, Brennan disregarded their concerns, quote, appearing more swayed by the dossier's general conformity with existing theories than by legitimate tradecraft concerns. And he formalized his position in writing, stating that my bottom line is that I believe that the information warrants inclusion in the report. So he went to Jim Jordan and said the CIA does not believe it should be in the report. Then he tells his CIA colleagues who had questions about whether or not it should be because they found flaws, no, it absolutely should be there. The guy, that's lie number 2.
Normally, you don't get something when there's this back and forth of whistleblowers raising allegations or telling Congress of things as a course of the investigation. You don't have the principle that memorialized his position.
They were fighting, obviously.
He actually put it in writing that he was the one that believed it should be included. And we know that even when he was questioned about, this has a lot of flaws, this doesn't meet our standards, this is where that famous line of, yes, but doesn't it ring true?
Yeah, it sounds right.
So he was going on vibes here because at the end of the day, President Obama had tasked them with rewriting the narrative.
You like the CIA
ahead
going
of
on
it.
vibes.
And the CIA went on vibes. The director here, maybe not the agents, a lot of them were pushing back, but he overruled their concerns and then memorialized it, but yet lied to Congress because he didn't want to be the one that started the entire thing. We should play this for people as well, because back in 2017, now this statement would be outside the statute of limitations, but this was Trey Gowdy questioning Brennan about the Steele dossier's inclusion back during the entire scenario of the Steele dossier and the special counsel's investigation. But he kept the same line. So he was even lying to Congress about this back in 2017. We have audio of that because this one was a public hearing, unlike the ones that are more serious, that are within the statute of limitations. But we should go ahead and play this because it's the same line. He was consistent with his lies that is being alleged here by the Judiciary Committee. Let's go ahead and roll bite one.
Did the CIA rely on it?
No.
Why not?
Because we didn't. It wasn't part of the corpus of intelligence information that we had. It was not in any way used as a basis for the intelligence community assessment that was done. It was not.
We know that that's not true, just even that it was not in any way used as a basis for the ICA, because it was the annex. All the information in the classified annex that we just recently got was Steele dossier information.
Yes.
So even that statement right there, while outside the statute of limitations, but just completely lying.
They relied on it because they used it as their source. So you read the intelligence community assessment, and one of their main sources are pieces of the Steele dossier. So of course you relied on it and so there's no way, because there's so much information about Brennan out here, there's no way he could say I was just the director and I was kind of misinformed. His hands were all over this, like you said. Memos for CIA directors, he liked to formalize all these memos for history's sake.
There's a lot of data, a lot of information you can just use, searchable
memos
information
that directly conflict with testimony he gave under oath, which means when they conflict like that and you don't go and correct it as immediately, like you misspoke, it is a crime to testify and lie to Congress.
And he doesn't have the cover of saying, I didn't really know about this. The directive on a new ICA came from the White House to the members of the intelligence community, the principals. They wanted to rewrite.
Because what's the benefit on the way out of office? What's the benefit of doing this for him?
Donald Trump. The only reason he won is because of Russia.
It was that insurance policy that Peter Strzok talked about. It was then to
even if it was over.
And then open up all the investigations. Gotcha. Did Donald Trump win because of Russia propaganda, even though it was over, so they could try and smear him, which they tried to do for all 4 years.
It can't just be a job for any of these people. It's got to be some, vindictive business operation that's beyond, all right, we're done now.
You remember what Chuck Schumer said, if Trump were to go after the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you. Mm-hmm. That was a warning from Chuck Schumer to Donald Trump. And what happened?
The man ended up cooking
I think we're
burgers.
now seeing all 6 ways laid out right in black and white.